Anne-Marie Wheatcraft is a Republican running for Superior Court of Pennsylvania. Judge Wheatcraft, why'd you decide to run for this office?
So I am in my 14th year as a judge now. I'm president judge in Chester County. I have been serving the residents of my county for about 25 years because prior to being elected judge, I was an assistant district attorney, a prosecutor for about 12 years. I have a lot of experience, and essentially being a Superior Court judge at this point would be a promotion for me. So I have been doing the work that Superior Court reviews when they take appeals from the trial court. I've been doing that work for a good period of time now. I've been in civil court and dependency court and criminal court. I've a lot of experience with criminal, and I am looking forward to doing something new, putting all of my expertise and experience to use in reviewing the work done by trial court, and I'm ready. I'm ready to take that challenge.
What drew you to the law in the first place?
So when I first started law school, I did it because I wanted to be an FBI agent. At the time, the FBI was looking for accountants and lawyers, and that was initially why I went to law school. I met my husband during law school, and that quickly became not an option anymore. But during law school, when I met my husband, I met my mother-in-law, who was the first woman judge elected in her county in Tennessee. And sitting on the bench with her, she would let me come and sit on the bench with her while I was a law student. And that was when I decided that I wanted to be a judge.
So you got to see that, literally a front row seat. Did you know at that point that being a judge was something that you would want to do?
Absolutely, absolutely. Watching her do the job, watching her, the way that she treated people, understanding how she affected people and their lives, the service that she was doing in her community, that appealed to me very much.
What did you see in what she did as a judge that you carried over into your own career?
I am good at making a decision. I listen to everything I need to listen to, and I'm good at making a decision when it needs to be made. One of the things that I did that she actually incorporated in Tennessee was when I was in the district attorney's office, I was assigned to the treatment courts. And my background prior to law school was in mental health and drug and alcohol. And I was a natural fit in the district attorney's office to be looking at cases for people who were applying to the treatment courts. When she came to visit us and I took her to the treatment court, she was so impressed by that work and the service to the community that she went and started one of the first treatment courts in Tennessee. So that is work that I've kind of come full circle on at this point because now I'm a judge in treatment courts, and it's some of my favorite work. I feel like that's where I have a real impact on the day-to-day lives of many, many people in our community.
Did you spend any time in the private sector before becoming a prosecutor?
I stayed home with my children for about 5 years, and during that time I did estate planning work. And I was part-time with I had one partner, and we did some private civil work, landlord, tenant, family, during that period of time. But that's my experience in the private sector.
Talk about your experience then in the district attorney's office. What kind of cases did you handle? Were you in the courtroom?
Yes. I handled every kind of case, from DUIs to murders, probably about 50 jury trials. negotiating cases, pretrial motions, sentencings, violations. I handled all of that as an assistant district attorney. So I went from December 30th of 2011, I was in front of the bench being a prosecutor, and January 2nd of 2012, I was on the bench as a judge.
And what was that opportunity? What was your first opportunity to run for the judiciary?
I ran in 2011, was the first time that I ran. And I did receive the party endorsement my first time through. And I think at that point in time, I was well enough known in my community that people knew my work, trusted me. There was certainly enough articles in the newspaper about cases and such that I had, that I was successful that first time that I ran.
And what did you think about your first day? Do you remember your first day as a judge?
Yes, I do.
What did you think about being on the other side of that bench?
So coming out of the district attorney's office, I was not permitted to sit in criminal court for 2 years. So I went initially to family court. And that was an adjustment. There is a lot, court is court to a certain extent, rules of evidence, trial procedure. There's plenty of crossover that it's not uncomfortable. And the family bar in my county was extremely welcoming, extremely helpful, and I loved it. I loved it from day one. And that was another opportunity to help families, and I appreciated that from day one.
And what kind of cases were you seeing in front of you at that point?
So I was assigned to family and civil. So I had both types of cases. Family court of custody, a lot of custody. I also was a dependency court judge where we dealt with the child welfare cases. And I had civil trials and a civil docket. The family court and dependency court is where I was seeing a lot of children who were in distress for various reasons. And that was my motivation to try to get us a treatment court dog. In 2014, I started a campaign to bring in a comfort dog for kids. I had seen a story about a court in Florida where they had done that. And we finally got one in 2021. So it took a little while, but we now have a comfort dog in our county that we use in the courthouse for interviews with children. So when judges are sitting down and interviewing children in custody trials or in dependency cases, they can have a dog there with them, which makes all the difference in the world. And also she's available for victims of crime or crime witnesses. And that is one of the things in Chester County that I've done that I'm most proud of.
What do you think the characteristics of a good judge are?
I think that a good judge is somebody who has the appropriate temperament, who is somebody who responds rather than reacts, somebody who considers all of the things that judges are supposed to consider, listening to evidence, listening to arguments of parties, applying the law as it is, applying the Constitution as it is, being thoughtful, and also not being afraid to say, I don't know, and I need to look that up, or I have reversed myself in ruling before, ruling on an objection that I had sustained an objection and had an opportunity to look it up and came back and reversed myself. So I think it's important that judges maintain their humanity, retain their humility, retain respect for, I always treat people the way that I expect people to treat me.
Along those lines, what would someone who argued in front of you say about your temperament?
So I participated in the Pennsylvania Bar Association's process where they rate candidates for judicial seats. I was involved with that process where they have lawyers who actually do an investigation, and they call people, not people who I suggest. They look up records of people who have appeared in front of me, and they had a very, very positive rating for me regarding my temperament. They indicated to me that everybody that they talked to indicated that they appreciated my temperament, that I'm not emotional or reactive. So I think that the Bar Association's review, I did receive the highest recommendation that the Bar Association awards for a judicial candidate, and they wrote very lovely things about my candidacy that's available on their website. So I think generally speaking, I'm very well regarded. My judicial peers unanimously elected me to be the president judge in Chester County, which was something that I was very honored to receive their support. And they are all also supporting me in this run for Superior Court.
Talk about your side of the Bar Association process. You said you got the highest recommendation or the highly recommended badge.
Yes.
What does that mean? What on your side of it? How were you evaluated?
So I had to complete a very extensive packet that got sent to them, information about me, opinions I'd written, my entire background. I then was interviewed over Zoom by 3 attorneys. That was about 2 hours. And then they wrote up the results of their investigation, which they passed on to the entire Judicial Evaluation Committee. I had to come to their headquarters, the PBA headquarters, and I was interviewed. It's a panel of about 15 lawyers and lay people as well who performed that. It was about an hour interview. And that highly recommended rating is the highest rating that they give, and I was very honored to receive it.
Let's go back to your time as a prosecutor. Are there any cases that come to mind that, in particular, shaped the jurist that you are today?
I think not necessarily any particular case, but just doing the work that I did. So as a prosecutor, we don't have an opportunity to speak to defendants. We speak with victims of crimes. We work with police officers, and we don't have an opportunity to talk to defendants. We see their criminal record on paper. We get to read a criminal affidavit regarding the case at hand. But there were times when I would be at the bar of the court for a guilty plea, and after hearing a defendant speak, either about the changes that they'd made in their life or their history, there would be times that I would ask to go to the side with the judge, and I would sometimes change my offer. I think that being a prosecutor, I became aware of how much more I wanted to be a judge so that I would have an opportunity to not be the advocate anymore, but the one being the decision maker, the one who gets to consider the whole picture, and the one who gets to impose that final sentence.
Same question then, from the perspective of being a judge. Are there any cases or case that stick out to you that particularly affect you to this day?
Sure. There have been really horrible cases that I have had that I don't know. I think judges all carry a degree of scarring related to some of the really bad cases that we've had. Certainly, I had a road rage case that involved an 18-year-old girl being shot and having 100 people in the courtroom with 20 or so coming up and telling me how her loss affected their lives. That stuff's tough. It's tough. And balanced with that then is the treatment court work that I do, where I get to see really good things. Where I have people graduating after turning their lives around, and parents tearful and thanking me for giving them their child back. So the job of a judge is a tough one, a trial court judge. It's a really tough one. And I think probably like most jobs, we have our good days and our bad days. Some of our bad days are bad.
You mentioned that you are the president judge of the Court of Common Pleas. Can you talk about the responsibilities of that and what that means?
President judge is essentially the head of the judiciary in the county. So I work with the other branches of government. I work with the county commissioners and all of the other department heads on issues that relate to the whole courthouse and the operation of the court system. It's a job that's more administrative. I am in charge of the assignments of all of the other judges. I still have a criminal caseload and I still have treatment courts. But it's certainly an honor to be in the position of president judge. It's another commission. So I have a commission. I was first commissioned as a common pleas court judge, and now I have a commission as a president judge.
You mentioned that you've reviewed cases. Can you talk about your relationship with the Superior Court, the court that you're seeking to move to? What is that like, and what does the Superior Court do as far as interacting with your current court?
So anytime that an appeal is taken from one of my cases and it goes to Superior Court, I have to write an opinion related to defending what I did according to the issues that are being challenged. I know many of the Superior Court judges. I probably know all of the Superior Court judges. We do have conferences and such together. I'm very good friends with Meg Sullivan, who was elected to Superior Court in 2021. So I'm very familiar with what they do and how they do their work. I've been on panels with Vic Stabile and Jack Piniella. We worked on a special bench card and materials for trial court judges related to sex assault cases. I am on the Continuing Judicial Education Committee. I was appointed by the Supreme Court to that committee. And I am on the committee that works on standard criminal jury instructions. And of course, a lot of what we do on that committee is driven by decisions of Superior Court and the Supreme Court as far as changing jury instructions when they need to be changed. I admire what our Superior Court does. And I'm looking forward to joining that bench.
Talk about what the Superior Court does, though, because it's a very busy court, right? They have to see all of the cases that are appealed. Is that right? And mainly from the level where you currently sit.
Unless that's a Commonwealth Court case. Commonwealth Court is the other intermediate appellate court that hears cases that involve regulatory agencies or state agencies. But criminal cases, primarily civil cases, go through Superior Court. And they are a very busy court. About 60% of what they do is criminal, which is very fitting with my background. I do teach new common pleas judges how to be criminal court judges. Since 2016, the Administrative Office of Pennsylvania Courts has been asking me to teach new trial court judges or new common pleas judges how to be criminal court judges. The criminal work that Superior Court does is something that's extremely important to the safety in our communities. They make decisions every day related to search and seizure law and how police officers do their work. And it's something with which I have a lot of experience and a lot of expertise that I'm looking to bring there.
I don't want to neglect, we mentioned that you are president judge, but can you tell the viewers how you become president judge?
So the statute is different according to how big the county is and how many judges are on the bench. In a county of my size, we have 15 judges, a bench of 15 judges. So the judges elect the president judge. It's usually mostly it has always gone by seniority in the history of Chester County, and I was the next senior judge, and then it's a 5-year term as president judge.
What about campaigning? This is your first time running statewide. What have you seen and heard from people around the state as you've traveled and campaigned?
People often have questions about what does Superior Court do? And so I've been trying to educate people related to that work and talk with people about my own experience and how my own experience fits with what Superior Court does. But people want to know more about the judiciary, and I'm trying to make people excited to vote for judges. We have the primary coming up in May, and then the general election, of course, in November. And I'm hoping that people will come to realize how important it is that they care about the judiciary, and that they have that they care about having judges with the proper expertise and experience, the proper recommendations.
How does it compare to when you first ran for judge on a more countywide level?
It's a lot bigger. There's certainly a lot more ground to cover. But it's nice to be able to be back out and talking with people. For the 13 years that I've been a judge, I'm not allowed to be involved in politics as a judge. So it's fun to be back out and doing that work. But certainly I'm putting a lot more miles on my car than I did when I was just running in Chester County.
Well, we have a couple minutes left. Why don't you take the next minute or so and tell our viewers why they should vote for you for Superior Court?
I'm asking for the vote for Superior Court first in the primary on May 20th. I believe that I am the strongest candidate. I have the most experience, the most expertise in the type of cases that Superior Court handles. I have shown through my work in my county that I am committed to helping our communities. The work that I've done in treatment courts, I have worked on the Statewide Association for Treatment Courts. I am hoping that being on Superior Court, I can further be in a position to help educate the legislature about treatment courts and expand that work. I am known in the Association of Judges as the dog judge. I did all the things that I did as far as getting comfort dogs into courts because I would love to see court not be as stressful. for people who are coming on really bad days. And it's really been well received. And there you will now find facility dogs all across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I hear so much positive feedback about that. And I think that if voters educate themselves about what the court does, about who the candidates are, it will become obvious that I am the best candidate for Superior Court. Even if you Google my name, you will see so many stories about cases that I prosecuted, cases that I presided over, and it is not hard to put together a picture of who I am based on my recorded history. I do have a website, Judge Wheatcraft for PA, that I invite people to visit, and also Facebook page by the same name. But I am asking for your vote in May, on May 20th, in the primary, and hopefully I have earned that.
Anne Marie Wheatcraft, Republican for Superior Court, thank you very much.
Thank you.